I'm Dave Palumbo, founder of Species Nutrition. I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work and are backed by science. From my earliest bodybuilding days, I believed in only putting the best in my body. And that lives on in the Species Nutrition line of products. We use only top-of-the-line formulations dosed for maximum results and the best flavoring systems available. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. Welcome back to Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is the 2020 IFBB, actually NPC North American Men's Bodybuilding Overall Champion, Nick Walker. He finally did it at the old age of 26 years. Welcome to the show and congratulations.
Thank you for having me on, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, this was a long time coming for you. You know, a lot of people don't realize you've been training a very long time since you're a teenager. And even though you're only 26 years old, you've been in the game for a long time. It wasn't like, you know, a lot of guys pop in and they win in a year or two. You busted your butt. You're a typical, you know, Northeast guy, train hardcore in Jersey there, and you made it happen. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
You have, you know, something that we haven't seen in a while. I call it the throwback 1990s freak physique, you know, whereas you got all the body parts in the right, you know, order, so to speak. You have, you know, a pro level structure on your body, but you also have that like dense, grainy, you know, freaky muscle that we haven't seen in a very long time on the bodybuilding circuit. What do you attribute that to?
My training. I train very, very intensely, but low volume, kind of like Dorian Yates.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, I saw you doing an interview with that, and I was impressed because I don't see a lot of guys kind of switched away from that. And you know, I was always a big believer also in low volume, high weights, and it shows in the density of your physique.
I believe, and I also believe that's one of the best ways to save muscle as well. When you're dieting so low, the more volume you do, you can sometimes tend to burn the muscle. Mm-hmm. And if you train low volume and keep the weight really high and just give out all intensity, the 1 to 2 sets, you should maintain majority of all your muscle.
I used to tell people when after I would do like 4 sets of incline presses, I wanted to go home. Like I felt like I got enough out of it. I felt like my chest was fried already. I lifted, you know, 405 for 6 heavy reps, and I didn't want to do anymore. And you know what? I started realizing that more wasn't necessarily better at that point.
Exactly, and sometimes that will hinder recovery, and recovery is very important, especially during prep.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, your physique speaks for itself. I actually, you know, when I look at your physique on stage, it actually reminds me of Mike Francois, if you remember him back in the 1990s.
Yeah,
and,
I've heard that a couple times.
Yeah, you got that a lot of density like him, and he also trained really heavy. So I mean, there's definitely something to it. I mean, it's not like you know, people want to know where you get that muscle from. It's from you put in hard work. Now, when you first started out, and when you were doing shows back in the early 2010 area, 2013, whatever, when you were a teenager. Were people already telling you, you know, you have potential to go far, or were you like one of these guys where they said, "Hey, you know what, you know, maybe you're wasting your time"?
Yeah. Well, when I graduated higty school at 230 pounds.
Oh wow, so you were a big kid, yeah.
I was a pretty big kid, and you know, everyone told me I should do my first show or do a first show. So after I graduated high school, I did my first show, the Gold's Classic, in 2012.
Yeah.
And I went from 230 pounds to 159 pounds.
Oh my God. Holy mackerel.
Yeah, we talk about over dieting, right?
You got to learn the hard way sometimes, right?
Yeah, I look like a totally different person. But at that point, like, yeah, I've heard maybe it's not for me, but I also knew the genetic factor that I had. Yeah. And if I had a proper coach that knew how to diet me properly, it would have been a different outcome.
Sure.
So I came back the following year. I did the Easterns in New York, as a teen as well, and I weighed 198 pounds, and I won the team division, and I took third in the light heavies.
I was at that show. I remember. You know, I didn't remember who you were, but now that I was looking at your contest history, I remember because I know I was at that show, and you were very impressive. I thought as a teenager at 198, you could tell that you had potential. Who knew how far you were going to go with it, but you definitely had potential. You know, at that point, you definitely changed your physique in that year for sure. Especially since you gained, what, 20 pounds on stage?
Pretty much.
Now, when you did Teen Nationals the year after and placed second, was that a big disappointment for you?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's always a disappointment losing, right? But
who beat you at that? Was that a Cody Montgomery year?
Yes, yeah, well, that was his 3-peat.
I remember, yeah. You knew he was the favorite, obviously, going into that show.
Yeah. So, like, I didn't go in the show like knowing I was going to lose, but I prepared myself for that because I know Cody was the favorite.
Yeah,
it was going to be his 3-peat. But to be neck and neck with him, and a close second, I was happy with it.
I think I might, and I can't remember back then, but I think I might have actually said that I thought you deserved to win. I think in my analysis, I was at that show. I think I actually liked your physique better than him at that show, or maybe I saw more potential in you. I don't know what it was, but that was a good battle you guys had there. And that was probably Cody's hardest show. You would think the third one, when he was the oldest, would have been the easiest win for him, but I don't think it was. Yeah. I think that might have been his toughest win.
Yeah.
So you come off that Teen Nationals, you obviously know that you have potential at this point. And what was your game plan at that point? How do you go from the teens now into that open division and have to start competing for a pro card? Like, what's the mental, I guess, thing that clicked in your head and said, okay, I have to take it to the next level now?
Well, at that point, I actually hired Jeff Long as my coach.
Right.
Because he lives like a half hour from me.
Yeah, you're from Jersey. You're both Jersey guys, yeah.
So we did a good off season together. And in 2016, I did a regional show, which was the South Jersey Championships, and I won the overall there as a heavyweight. I was like, I want to say 210.
All right. You had taken a year off though, right after Teen Nationals?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we did USA's 7 weeks after that, and we sucked down to a light heavyweight.
Okay.
Where I placed 6th place there.
Now, was that a mistake going down, you think, in weight, or was it the right move?
I think it was the right move. I think if I stayed in heavies, I don't think I was big enough or would have been compared as good enough as I was in the lights.
Right.
And I liked the way my physique looked there. I thought it was very crisp, very lean, dry, and to get top 6 at your first national show in a light heavyweight, which is a very competitive weight class.
Right. Now, how tall are you? Happy. Nick, how tall are you?
5'7".
Okay. I didn't realize you were that short. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so you were you really fit into that weight class. It wasn't like you were too tall for it at all.
No.
So were people telling you at that point, you know what, stay as a light heavyweight, get your pro card, and then move up? I hear that a lot, especially with guys.
No, actually, no one said that to me. Like after we did USA's, we just went right into an off season, and we got ready for. I had to qualify again. So in 2017, I did the Muscle Beach as a heavyweight,
right?
And I won the overall there. And then we went to North Americans in 2017,
right?
Where I think we just overdieted a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up being like 202 pounds on stage.
Oh, okay.
And I got 6th there again, but it was not my best.
It wasn't a good look for you, yeah.
Yeah.
You obviously look better, bigger.
Yes.
So
I think so.
So now you took 2018. You were actually preparing for a show, and then you never competed. What happened that year? Because I think a lot of people were wondering, is Nick Walker done? Sometimes you see young guys come up. They got tremendous talent. They get all this potential. Like I think of Trey Brewer, and then I actually compared you in a show I just did earlier to a young Trey Brewer that actually lived up to his hype, so to speak. But a lot of times these guys disappear. Did you freak out? What happened? Did you get injured?
No, I had a slight issue that I was having. I I don't want to get too in depth about it.
Okay.
Because I don't want to start trouble anywhere. Yeah. But I just thought it was the best move for me, being young and not knowing what was going on.
Okay.
And I didn't want to ruin my future and continue, and then something serious actually happen.
Gotcha. So
I decided to pull out, got my full blood work done, and majority of everything just came back normal.
Okay.
So I just said, okay. So I decided at that point, that's actually when me and Matt connected after that.
I got you. So you had a problem with your coach. I understand. You don't have to talk about it. Were you you know, sometimes when something like that happens, it's, you know, and you're right before a show and you have to pull out, it's very depressing. Did you fall into a depression, or did you kind of like move past it?
I was very upset. Yeah. I was very upset, but I'm the type of guy that, you know, gets over things real quick and makes the next move, and we get started on that.
Okay.
So
you hook up with Matt Jensen and you say, all right, we're going to go shoot for 2019. We're going to do the USA. And obviously that was your breakout year when you placed second last year. What was different going into that prep, and what did you actually wind up on stage weight-wise?
At USA's?
Yeah.
236, 238.
Oh, wow. So that's a huge jump you made. What'd you gain, 20 pounds?
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to?
Again, that was when me and him actually, that's when I started doing the low volume training. Okay. We ate a lot more food. We did, you know, high intensity, low volume, and everything just clicked. Yeah. Everything clicked perfectly.
Yeah, you and I were talking earlier, and we were talking about, you were telling me how for this year you kind of stopped doing a lot of free weight squats to kind of make sure your waist didn't get any bigger. And we were talking about what machines and what exercises you kind of feel more. And I was telling you that when I was competing, I tried to do the whole, you know, no squatting thing one year, and I did leg press, and I never felt leg press really well. I never really was a big leg press fan. And you said you feel leg press a lot. And I think it goes back to the fact that you have to find what works for your physique. And obviously you and Matt, when you connected, you figured out how your physique rose best, which is more food, less volume. And which is the case with a lot of guys. I was like a low volume guy too. If I did too much volume, I didn't recover, I didn't grow. So obviously you found what works for your physique, and your body, you know, blossomed when you did that.
Mm-hmm. You did. Very, very quickly. My strength was going up like weekly, like by a long shot.
Wow. What kind of lifts are you doing? I mean, like, what were some of your impressive gym lifts? 'Cause I know you have some crazy lifts that you do.
Okay, so the highest I inclined dumbbell press, the 225s.
Holy shit. Hi, let me ask you a question with that, because you know what? I was a pretty strong guy when I got big too, but I had a problem with heavy dumbbells because I couldn't like, I literally wanted to fall over. I couldn't balance them. Even at 300 pounds, I couldn't balance those things.
Yeah.
What do you have? Someone hand you each one of them?
Yeah. So basically, how we did it was we sat them on my lap, and when I went to kick one back, they kind of just followed with me and helped me turn it.
So you need two spotters, basically, is what you need.
I did. I needed two spotters.
That's crazy.
And then once I got going, though, it was very smooth. So
impressive. What else are you doing in the gym that's impressive?
I dumbbell shoulder press, 200-pound dumbbells.
Wow. That's, I guess, the same. Someone has to hand you those things. There's no way you're lifting those off the floor.
Oh yeah, they had to hand it to me at the top, like, so I had to make sure I had some strong people there.
And that's scary too, because if you move a little in the wrong direction, you can hurt yourself a lot. You have to have really good spotters, you know.
For sure. And then I also barbell shoulder press 405 for 8, I believe.
That's sick. I thought I was impressed. I thought it was impressive when I did 315 for like 6, but 405 for 6 is absolutely insane. People don't know how hard that weight is to stabilize. You know,
stabilize. That's the hardest part.
Unbelievable. And how do you work up to that? Did one day you just say, okay, let's throw another 25 on each side? Did you do that?
Honestly, yeah. Like I'm just like, so when I did 365 before that, I was like, oh, this feels light. I'm stopping. Yeah. And I just racked it, and we put 405 on, and I got 6 out of it. And I was like, holy shit.
You know, and the reason I stress this and why I'm making a big deal about this is because that's why you're so big and dense, because you're lifting these heavy weights, and you're not just doing one rep with them. You're doing full range motion, and you're doing multiple reps, and that's why you're growing. And people just don't get it anymore. And I think that's why we don't see physiques like yours anymore, because no one's willing to do that in the gym. And that's scary shit, getting under 230-pound dumbbells or putting 405 and pressing it over your head, because, you know, it's not comfortable, it hurts, and it's dangerous. So people don't do those things, you know, and they can't take selfies while they're doing it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's very true. That's why I have someone video it for me.
Yeah. And to make matters worse, you train in pretty much the most hardcore gym, you know, in your area, Attilas Gym. And if that rings a bell in people's minds, it's because that, you know, I've had the Attilas Gym owners on the show. Yeah. They've been fighting the state since this whole COVID thing went down to stay open. They've been fined. They've lost their business license. They've taken the front door off. And you've been training at that. I didn't know this. You train at that gym every single day.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's got to be a great environment, because everyone is so fired up in that place all the time.
Oh yeah, it was definitely an experience. That's for sure.
Were you there when the cops came?
Oh yeah.
Was everyone just continue training and they didn't even give a shit?
Yeah, everyone kept doing their thing.
That is awesome.
Then they got released from prison and opened the doors right back up.
That's fucking awesome. Well, you know what? It really saved you, because I mean, you needed a place to train, and you can't keep that kind of weight in your house. You know, it's one thing to like have your own little home gym, but you're not keeping 230-pound dumbbells in your house. So I mean, you really need the gym to do that.
Exactly. Yes.
So you should be taking your hat off to those guys, because those guys are just as responsible for you getting that pro card.
Me and the owners are really good friends.
Yeah, they're good guys. Yeah, they're good guys. So you come into this year's show. What did you actually weigh on stage?
So the morning of pre-judging, I believe I was 247.
Wow, that's impressive. Your height. People have to remember you're only 5'7".
Yeah.
If you were 5'11", that would be like weighing 280 pounds.
Right. Right.
Because that's what you look like you're on stage. You look like you're 280 on stage. It's crazy. Matter of fact, people were saying when I put up a picture of you on Instagram, you know, congratulating you. People were saying this guy could have won the New York Pro. That's got to be a compliment to you right there, man. Right?
It's actually really cool to hear. You know, it's definitely awesome.
It would have been nice if it wasn't on the same weekend. Like if it would have been the weekend after. You should go to California and compete, next weekend.
Yeah.
You probably qualify for the Olympia.
Probably.
Are you thinking about doing that, or are you shutting it down for the year?
Oh, no, we're going to do Chicago.
Oh, you are? Okay, which is taking place in Atlanta, obviously. They've moved it. But
yeah, the whole reason why we're doing Chicago and not Cali is simply just because, me and Matt had this goal of turning pro since we started. Like, this was our goal.
Yeah.
And he wanted me to enjoy it. He wanted me to embrace it and enjoy the night, enjoy a couple days worth. And if we were to do Cali, I wouldn't have had time to really enjoy my win,
Right.
So he wanted me to have that and then start getting ready for Chicago.
Are you still mentally strong in the sense that you can keep going for Chicago without burning out?
If I win Chicago, I'm going to go to the Olympia.
Well, that's an obvious.
Oh, yeah. So I'm that win just fired me up even more now,
Isn't it crazy that, and I always say this to people like yourself, there's two types of people. There's the guys that turn pro, but then they have to work to become a good pro. And then there's the guys that turn pro who it took them so long to turn pro that they're already pro material just waiting to happen. So you can go plug yourself right into the pro ranks and do well. How well you do, we won't know until you stand on stage with these other guys, obviously, but you're gonna match up well because you got the size, the density, and the conditioning already. And the reason you have that is because you had to work your butt off the last 5 years to get that. It wasn't like, it wasn't just handed to you, like because you got lucky at a show, no one showed up or anything like that, or you won a lighter weight class. So you got to feel good knowing that you can go into a pro show and probably do damage right off the bat.
Oh, for sure. And I'm very excited to see how I do, for sure.
Yeah. I am too. I think it's, we haven't seen a physique like yours in quite a while. And I think that it's, the pro ranks have had a lot of older guys who are kind of running at the top of the game right now. And there's only a couple of young guys that are coming up. And to see a guy like you, Hunter Labrada, and a couple of the other younger guys that are entering into the pro ranks. It's kind of like we're seeing what the future is going to look like, because you guys are going to be the guys doing battle in 5 or 6 years from now when all these other guys are already retired, because they're not going to last.
Absolutely.
Maybe Dexter will be around, but no one else is going to be around in 7 years. These other guys that are competing now, they're in their 40s, they're going to be retired. So it's cool to see upcoming talent. When you won, what was the feedback? Did any judges come up to you and give you some good feedback?
Well, I won with straight ones.
Yeah.
And they said everything was on point. Just work on my front lat spread. Because they said when you do your back lat spread, your rack is really wide.
Yeah.
So you can hit a front lat spread better. So that's we're gonna practice that. We're gonna try and come in a little bigger and better condition as well. And we're just gonna practice more stage presentation better.
Right. It's funny, but the front lat spread pose really shouldn't be called the front lat spread pose. I always tell people, and this is why it messes people up. It should be called the front lat spread relaxed pose, because that's really what it is. It's relaxing your lats and opening them up, because everyone kind of, even Ronnie Coleman never was able to hit a front lat spread. His back was so big it didn't matter, but it would almost be like he was doing the most muscular, hitting that lat spread. And it locks down your lats, and it doesn't allow them to open up and expand completely. Dorian Yates probably has the best front lat spread of all time, I think.
He sure does.
Yeah, or Joel Stubbs maybe, who had a great back too. But if you see, it's just a relaxed pose where these guys are just basically just opening their lats up. And I think that just comes with experience. I never understood it either. I couldn't. That was my worst pose when I first started. It was one of my best poses when I retired. So that's just comes with experience, really.
It does, yeah.
So. Hey, you know what? I know you got a lot of people in your corner who you'd like to thank, and here's your opportunity. Go ahead and thank the people who were in your corner, and let us know who was behind the scenes helping you.
Yeah. So first, I'll thank my family, my mom and dad, who have supported me literally since I started my bodybuilding career. Literally through all the ups, all the downs, all the money that was spent. They never walked away. They never missed a show. My mom loves this shit so much. She thinks she's a judge now.
Oh, I love the fact that your parents are into it, because my dad was a football, baseball guy. He had no idea about bodybuilding. He respected what I did, but he didn't really get it. I love that your mother thinks that she wants to go to the show and yell out the poses to you. That's great.
My God, you should have seen. You should see. She takes all my morning pictures that I send to Matt. She'll critique my posing. She's like, "Oh, this looks like shit. Change this." It's funny. It's awesome.
That is good.
I want to thank also my coach, Matt Jansen, who's done a lot for me. He's definitely more than just a coach to me at this point. He's definitely family, and I cherish every memory we have made and continue to make at this point.
And you rep his company too, right? You're an athlete firm.
Yeah, I'm a Raw Nutrition athlete and a Revive athlete as well. Which is awesome.
Excellent.
And also, I want to thank my girlfriend as well. She's been very supportive throughout the whole thing. And I always like to say this because it's true. Anyone who knows me knows no relationships last with me during prep. So the fact that she's here, she stuck through it. She's a keeper.
She's either a glutton for punishment or she's a keeper, like you said. Yeah.
You make it through a prep with me, you're a keeper.
Are you a pain in the ass? I mean, I used to get really grumpy.
Oh, I'm a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Oh, I hear the peanut gallery in the back going. Yeah.
Yeah. I get pretty cranky at times. Yeah. And overall, just everyone that supports me, I'm just very thankful for it all, and it's just very humbling, and I enjoy every moment of it.
Yeah, well, revel in the victory. It doesn't last long, but you know what? What's good for you is you don't have to wait till next year, because you're going to be competing in a few weeks at the Chicago Pro, where hopefully, God willing, you win the show and you go to the Olympia and make that even more exciting. So I wanted to give you a huge congratulations once again. Very impressive victory. You have a great physique and a great future ahead of you, and I hope you go very far in the sport. If I was a betting man, I would put my money on you to go all the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Dave.
All right, guys, and that's going to take us to the end of another episode of Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. I'm Dave Palumbo for Nick Walker. We'll see you next time.